Hello everyone, I'm Fisher Online and this is with part C of the new area in Ukraine. Just want to give you guys another spot that I'm fishing at and some info what you catch here. Let's just get all these rods out. I fish on two different ones. Got a grassy there. And here is a nice spot. In this spot where I am, both the feeders and the floats is working good. You remember in the previous spot I mentioned that only the float rods is working, the feeders was dead. This spot the feeders work well and the float rods work well. As you can see, the feeders biting nicely here. And in this specific spot I'm getting wild carp again, which now is a good thing because the wild carp at Ukraine is now one of your main targets because of the XP and money buff that they got. So it's always good if you have a spot where you're getting wild carps and the common carp again. Let's get that one in. Okay, now where I am now, in the previous video I was sitting here at the V. So I just went further up and to the right into this right hand channel, just this little area here where it opens up. That's where I'm sitting now. And when I was coming there around the corner, coming here, and I saw this dead trees and stuff here, this area was just saying, it's like this area is saying, come and fish me. It just looked good for fishing, so I decided to try this area, and it's also working very nicely. And what I'm catching here I'm catching a little bit of everything. Firstly, here I'm using both methods. I'm using the feeders and the floats as well. Both work well. We got a little cushion, and the species that I'm picking up here, just first put that one away, is the common carps, the wild carps, grass carp I've picked up here, and now and then the little crucians that you saw there. But the main one for this spot is the grass carps. That's the best one, the most important one, because like I said, that's the best XP, especially if you're still doing leveling, you're new here to Ukraine, you're still doing your leveling, then it's good to have the grass carp spots now, so that you can utilize the much better XP that the grass carps are giving, the wild carps, excuse me, that these wild carps are giving now. And the setups that I'm using in this spot, guys, it's the same that I used in the previous videos. As you see, nice and active here. I want to show you guys the setups. Fish can give me a break here. I'm really enjoying Ukraine now. It's really a fun lake to fish now. It's such a major improvement. Not just the fact that there's a new area and that the wild carps got a buff, but for me the bite rate is much improved here as well. The last few months Ukraine tended to be a bit slow, especially on feeder rods. So I'm really happy with the Ukraine the way it is now. It's a really enjoyable place to fish. Oh, yeah, that one goes again. Yeah, after this one I will first show the setups. Or or it's just the fact that this ground bait that I crafted is just very good. But I'm not having any bite rate issues here at Ukraine now, and that's really nice. You see mostly here the wild carps is on the feeders, mostly the wild carps where your best XP is at this lake. Alright, let me first show you guys the setups. The setups is the same as in my previous videos. The feeders, it's still the 30 kilograms I use. You can go bigger. I'm using size 2 hooks for improved bite rate. On my one rod I'm using normal corn, and the ground bait I'm using on it is the carp honey base with hemp dip, the hemp flavoring, and I added corn bait into the mix as well. My second rod, also the feeder, the size 2 hook. On this one I'm using potato cubes, and the ground bait I'm using is the carp honey base. I added dill, the dill dip flavoring, and I added peas, normal peas into it as well. And then the floats, on the float rod here I was using the same as in the previous video, size 2 hook with grass boilies, cabbage boilies, and mint boilies, and you can also use technoplankton. And I think something that I forgot to mention in the previous video is my float depth that I use here. The float depth that I use here is 2.5 meters in this specific new area. Both in the previous video and in this spot that I am now, I use the float depth of 2.5 meters. I think I forgot to mention that in the previous video. I'm gonna another little common carp. So for this area here, you can do both feeders and float. I would suggest to use the feeders and target the wild carps, because that is better XP and money than your silver carp and your grass carps. So that is what I would suggest, but you can do the floats and target the grass carps in the spot as well. So there's the spot for final reference. From the spawn through the little opening there, you turn to the right, and you come here to V, you just go to the right, and I'm here in this area where it kind of opens up, this little area here. And that's it for part C of Ukraine's new area, guys. Tight lines, have fun, I will see you again. Cheers.